video we will see Java part 1. As part of this video we'll see creating simple Java project or sample Java project in Eclipse, and what are data types, variables, class and object, and we'll see Java comments. So first we'll see what is data type. Data type defines the type of data which you are storing or holding. It defines the memory allocation of the data type, primitive data type and non-primitive data types. These are two types of data types. First, data type means it will hold some value. So when you write Java code, you will write something where it will store. So to store something, we need some memory. So data type will hold some kind of information. It will create some memory to hold some data. So there are two types of data types. One is primitive data type and non-primitive data type. So there is a small diagram. I'll tell you data types. Data types are two types, primitive data types and non-primitive data types. In the primitive data types, it is categorized into two types, numeric data type and non-numeric data type. Again, numeric data type segregated into two types. Integer means integral data types, floating point data types. Again, floating point data types are four types. One is byte, short, int, long. And the same way, there are two floating point data types. Those are float and double. Non-numeric data types, those are boolean and char. And coming to the non-primitive data types, those are all string, class, interface, arrays. So in this video, we'll see primitive data types, and non-primitive data types we will discuss in some other videos. Okay, so primitive data types. Inside that, we'll see first in the primitive data types, numeric data types, in that integral data types. So there are four integral data types, right? So integral data types represents integer data types, means numbers not having any decimal point. Integer means a number without decimal point. Here I have given a small table that will give you information about data type, what memory it will occupy, means how much memory it will occupy, what is the default value, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, and small example. Right. So first we'll take byte. Byte will occupy 1 byte, and the minimum value is minus 128 and the maximum is plus 128. And the example how you write is, there is a keyword called byte. Byte b equals 100. And the same way short. Short will take 2 bytes of data, and the minimum value is minus 32,768 and the maximum is plus 32,767, and the default value is 0, and the short s is equals 1000. Integer, it will occupy 4 bytes of memory, and the minimum value, so minus 214,748,3648, and the same way plus 214,748,3647. And small example is int I equals some 1 lakh. Long will take 8 bytes. So the default value is 0 and you need to represent capital L. 0 capital L is the default value. And the minimum value is minus 2 to the power of 63 and the maximum value is plus 2 to the power of 63 minus 1. Long L is equals some big number with capital L. So these are all integral data types, means an integer value without decimal point. So here there is no decimal point. Byte b equals to 100, short is equal s is equal to 1000, int I equals some 1 lakh, long L is equal to some 10 lakhs L or 1 crore L, something like that. So there is no decimal point in this. So normally, very generally we will use integer. Okay, integer is sufficient most of the times, but as part of Java we should know what are the integral data types. Okay, now we'll move to the next. In the primitive data types, in the numeric data types, we have floating point data types. What is floating point data type? Floating point data types used to store the decimal point numbers or values. Integral means without decimal points, but coming to the floating point, these are with decimal points. So the same way, here also we have small table, data type, memory size which it will occupy, default value, minimum value, maximum value, and small example. Float will occupy 4 bytes of data and the default value is 0.0f and the minimum value minus 3.4 E38 to minus 1.4 E hyphen 40y. So we cannot read, but this is the minimum value, and the same way you will have maximum value, and the small example is float f is equal to 20.1 small f. And the same way double will occupy 8 bytes of data memory and the default value is 0.0d small d. So that is the minimum value, and the same way you have maximum value and the double d equal to 60.33. If you are not mentioning anything means that represents small d. Here you see float means you have to mention small f, but coming to the double, no need to explicitly mention that. Okay, then what is the difference between these two things? Here also they're 20.1, here 60.33. Then what is the exact difference between these two? Float will represent up to 7 digits accurately after the decimal point, and the same way double will represent up to 15 digits accurately after the decimal point. Means after point 20 point 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to 7 points it will accurately give the information. If you want to represent more than 7 decimal points, then you need to go with double. Double will represent up to 15 digits accurately. So what you say 60.123456789 12345 till 15 digits. Okay, this is what all about floating point data types, a value with decimal points. Okay, now we'll see the next one, primitive data types, non-numeric data types. So we have seen in the previous slides numeric data types. Here we'll see non-numeric data type, character and boolean. Char data type used to store character data type. It stores only one character at a time. But coming to the boolean data type, we'll have specific values to store. Here we have specific values to store in boolean. Those are true or false. Means boolean contains only two values. Those are true or false. Apart from true or false, you cannot store anything else. So data type, memory size, default value, minimum value, max value, and example. It is char. Char will occupy 2 bytes of data and the default value /u0000, minimum value 0, max value 65,535, and example is char c equals to, in the single quotes you need to mention single letter, alphabetical thing. What is it? A, B, C, D, E, something like that. Okay, till Z. And the boolean will take only 1 bit memory and the default value is false and the boolean b equals to true. There is no min value, maximum value. It occupies it takes only true or false. That is the reason we do not have any true or false. Okay, we'll see the next one. What is variable? Right, till now we have seen data types, then we'll see what is variable. Once we see everything theoretically, we'll move to the Eclipse and we'll see everything by taking some examples. Okay, variables are useful to store the data or values. When you create a variable, it creates some space in the memory. When you want to use the value multiple places, then we'll store that value in a variable and then we can use the same for the purpose of reusability. So variables are useful to store data or values. Then what is the difference between data type and variable? That we'll see. When you create a variable, it creates some space in the memory. Okay. So for the purpose of reusability, we'll use variables. There are two types of variables. One is instance variable and local variable. We'll discuss about what is instance, what is local in the upcoming videos. But here see what is a simple variable. Okay. If you take an example, int I equals to 10. Here integer is data type, but I want to store multiple values. Int equals to 10, int equals to 20, int equals to 30. If I give which integer it will take, then how you can access the 10, 20, 30. Okay, just an example, if you take humans, we have men and women. Okay, men will have some different characteristics and the same way women will have different characteristics. But when you say man, who will respond? Right, there may be so many people are there. If you simply say man, who will respond? Then we have a specific name to identify us. Okay, X, Y, Z, Peter, John, Ram, something like that. Okay, we'll have some names. The same way here also, you know, this is integer kind of data, but how can I call it? How can I name that? For that we'll use variable. Okay, here integer is a data type, I is that name, variable name, and the actual value what we are storing there is variable value. When I use I, I'll get 10. Okay, a simple example, int I equals to 10. Here int is data type, I is equals to variable name, and 10 is variable value. And the same way, if you have character s equal to character c is equals some s, here character char means data type, s means that variable name, and the s or c, whatever it may be, character c is variable name, and the value you stored s is variable value. Okay, this is a simple example. Now we'll see what is class. Class is a blueprint or prototype or template from which objects are created. It represents the set of properties and methods that are common to all objects of one type. Okay, class is a blueprint or prototype. What do you mean by blueprint or prototype? So in Java, if you want to write any program, any code, then we need to create a class. Without a class, you cannot do anything in Java. So if you want to write something, you should have some rules, regulations. Okay, then that will be represented by a class. So class is a blueprint or prototype or template from which objects are created. Means if you want to write something, you have to use the class, and class will tell you you need to use this way only. So you have to follow the same way. That way you can write a program in Java. So that is the reason class is a blueprint or prototype or template. It's a kind of template. You follow the template to write a better program. Okay, so from the class you will create objects. It represents the set of properties and methods. So what is properties? The variables comes under properties. Methods. Methods are actual executable code. Without methods, you cannot achieve what you want to do. Actual executable code will be reside in methods that are common to all objects of one type. Okay? We'll see what is that common object to, like common to all objects of one type. But this is theoretically what do you mean by class? Okay. What is object? It is a basic unit of object-oriented programming and represents the real-life entities. A typical class creates many objects, interact by invoking methods. An object consists of, so it's a basic unit of object-oriented programming and it represents real-life entities. So if you have something in the class, if you want to access something from that class, you need to create an object. So object will have state and behavior and identity. What is state? It is represented by attributes of an object. It also reflects the properties of an object. So behavior, it represented by methods of an object. It also reflects the response of an object with other objects. Identity, it gives a unique name to an object and enables one object to interact with other objects. So the same way you will have state, behavior and identity for object like. So state means it represented by attributes, behavior means it represented by methods, so it reflects the response of an object means executable code. Identity means you have to give some unique name to represent an object, right? Otherwise how you can use that object without a name. Okay, this is all about an object. So now we have seen everything in theoretical. So now we'll see by taking some example. For that we'll go to the Eclipse. So this is a empty Eclipse. I do not have any project. First we need to create a project. For that, what you need to do, you need to right click here in this area, Project Explorer or Package Explorer here. Here in the Package Explorer, you need to right click. You will have one of the options called New. Here in this Mac, I'm not capturing that. Otherwise, you will get in the Eclipse File. I have File. You may not see this option. It's up. I'm not recording that area. So, but when you click on File, you will see New option. So, the same thing can be obtained from here in the Package Explorer. Just right click New. You see that Java project. But in the initial stage, you will not get this Java project directly. You will get project. So first click on project. Then you will get new project wizard. Here, what you will get some of these options. You have to go to the Java and expand that. You will find Java project. Okay. So if you are not finding this, you can type here. See, type filter text. Here you say Java project. You see that it filtered in the Java. You have Java project. So now you just click on Java project. Click on next. Now you get new Java project pop up. Here you see project name. So you need to give a name, Java demo. Okay, I'm just giving Java demo. I'll say Java demo project. And use an existing environment JRE. You need to select which version of Java you are using. I'm using Java 8. Okay. Most probably you should not touch. No need to touch this area. Just give this name. Everything will be taken care by Eclipse. Then go to the next. You will not find anything here. Okay. So just click on finish. Otherwise, after giving the name also, you can click finish. So here in the Package Explorer, you will get the project, Java demo project. When you expand this, you see JRE system library 1.8 I'm using, means I'm using Java 1.8. When you create a project, by default, Java reference libraries. When you expand this, you will find some jar files. So these are all files support to write Java code that can be directly come into your project when you create a project. No need to explicitly add. Okay, and apart from that, you will find one project default. Sorry, it's not a project, it's a folder. That folder is called SRC. SRC means source. So this is the source folder. By default, you need to write each and everything inside this folder only. Okay, so that way Java will, otherwise Eclipse will identify where my files are. Okay, this is a sample Java project. Okay, so now as already we discussed that class, without class I cannot write anything. If I want to show you what is data type, what is variable, how to use these variables, I need to create a class. If you discuss that before a class also, here when you discuss about this, data type is first, variable second, then I am discussing about class and object. But coming to the real-time scenario, if I want to say something about, if I want to tell you about data types or variables, first I need to create a class. Without class you cannot do anything, but there is a template, prototype. So now we need to create a class. How you create a class? Just right click on your folder, then you'll find new. The same way you'll find one of the options called class. You see this is a class. So give class and it will ask you that name, class name. So in this, which folder in the Java project? Under source folder, / SRC means it's a structure. Inside the Java demo project and then source, inside that you need to give a name. But as per Java, you need to create at least one package to write your code. Okay, that is a rule. But if I am not giving anything, we'll see what will happen. Class, what will say? Variables demo. You see that the use of the default package is discouraged. Means if you are not, okay, class must and should start with capital letters. Variables and demo means camel case. Variables is a separate word, demo is a separate word. So each word should start with capital letters. This is called camel case. And you should not give any spaces. If I give any space, you see that type name is not valid. The type name variables demo is not a valid identifier. So you should not give any space. Right. And we need to check public static void main string args. Okay. I need this method. This is a method. What is method? We'll see in a separate video. So I'll click this checkbox. You need to select this checkbox. Finish. You see that if you are not giving anything, it's a default package it is taking, and it is saying that it is discouraged. You should not use this. Okay, you will not get any issues, but as per Java, you have to create a package. Inside that only you need to create your classes. Okay, now you see that public class variables demo. This is my class name, and the same way my file name. My file name is what? Variables demo, and the extension is .java. Right. But this is my file name. This is my class name. Both should be same. Okay. Both should be same. File name and class name should be same. Otherwise, if I try to give some other name, you see that I am getting error. Rename file type to variables demo1.java, otherwise rename type to variables demo. It is giving two options, whether you change your file name to variables demo1, otherwise class name to variable demo. You should match both. So I'm just removing this, so it should be same. Now this is a method, this is called main method. So if you forgot to give, means otherwise click the checkbox while creating the class name, something like that it will create without public static void main method. Then you need to type yourself public static void main inside the bracket string args. So you need to write something inside this only. So what is being my public static void main? It is the starting point of what? Starting point of your execution. Okay, when you go to the PPT, I have Java comments, right? So what do you mean by Java comment? Now we'll use here. Java comment means when you write some comments, it is not recognized by your Java and it will not consider to execute. Okay, so how the comments will be? If you want to write some comments, comments means some information you are giving to your user, otherwise yourself. If you want to remember something according to your logic, okay, you will put some comment, kind of notes you can say. So double forward slash, and then this is the starting point of Java program execution. I'm saying something like this. Okay, this cannot be execution. This cannot be recognized by your Java compiler, so means it will not compile or it will not execute. Okay, for that you need to use double forward slash. If I give single forward slash, you see that you are getting some errors. Okay, when I give double forward slash, you see it will become green code, green color code, so it will not execute. So instead of writing here, otherwise you can write here. Okay, so now it is a class. Inside the class, if I want to discuss about variables, so I say int I equals to 10, and each and every line should end with a semicolon. Okay, otherwise it will give you error. You should end with semicolon. So int I equals to 10, int is a variable. Now I can say information here. Int is data type, I is variable name, 10 is variable value. Okay, so some of the words showing as some different color, and the remaining things are showing in black color. This is kind of what is a violet color, right? So these are all predefined by Java, means these are called keywords. Java predefined keywords. So the predefined keywords cannot be used for other purpose. Okay, so the default keywords will be shown in a different color called kind of violet color. Okay, so int is a default keyword, static is a keyword, void is a keyword, public is a keyword, class is a keyword. Okay, and this class cannot be used for some other purpose. If I say my name is, I want to store the 10 in public, int public, you see that it is giving me syntax error token public invalid variable declarator id. Okay, so this cannot be used for some other purpose, and there is no rule to use. You can use any value. This is my name, int I, instead of I have given some random name. I can give anything, but it should be some meaningful and it should not be predefined keyword. Okay, that is the reason I'll use I. Okay, and the same way, what you can say, short is equals to 10 only. Okay, you see short is also keyword. Byte B. Right. What is that? Remaining things int I, short S, byte B, float 10.1. Is that I'm getting an error? So you need to mention small f. Right. Why it is giving me? Sorry, I forgot to give float f equals to. You see, I'm giving an error. Add cast to float. Otherwise, change type of f to double. So you need to mention small f and then double d equals to something like this. But you can mention small d or you cannot. It's not mandatory for here. Right. And then what we have? Boolean b equals to, I cannot store something like that 10. Okay. Otherwise, we have char, right? Char c equals to the single quotes, some s I am giving. On the same way, I cannot give some c. Okay. I cannot give some Boolean value, sorry, floating point value. It will accept only true. Already have used b. So you should not use duplicate name. Okay. Byte b, Boolean, I say bool. Okay. True or false. You see that true or false, true and false also coming different color. These are also predefined keywords. I cannot say true, false. I cannot give something like what? It's a fact. Right? You cannot, it will not take. Fact is not a predefined keyword. Bool accepts only true or false. Okay. Anything we are missing? Byte short int long. Okay. Long L is equals to some value, some big integer value. Right. We have byte short int long float double char. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 8 kind of. What are all these things? Primitive data types. You see that? It's a kind of notes for me. Primitive data types. So if I do not want to execute int I equals to 10, then I can simply put some double forward slash. Then see that became green color. So it will not execute. Okay. And sometimes I do not want to execute some 3 to 4 lines of code, more than one line. So that time, if you keep putting this one, it's a tedious job for us. Okay. Inside, if it is single line, then you can use double forward slash. If it is multi-line, slash star, and this is the starting point. Till here, if you want to comment, then reverse star slash. You see that errors gone. Otherwise, if you want to do only till here you do not want to execute, comment star slash. You see that in between these two, the all code become green color. It will not execute, and after that it is, you see that normal code, it will be executed. Right. This is multi-line comment. This is single comment. Okay. So I'll take some notes in this. new, you can create a file. Inside this I'll say notes, finish. So what I'm saying, single line comment, how it will be, double forward slash, then multi-line comment will be like slash star and then star slash. In between whatever you write, that will be commented, it will not execute. Okay, now come back to this one. So I have written something like this, but what I can do with this? So you can use int I equals to 10, okay, int x equals to 20. I want to add these two, I can say x plus I, okay, something like that. But first I want to print something. For that you have one of the options called system dot out dot println. In the brackets you need to mention I, okay, mention I. So I is commented, right? I can say bool. At present time I'll take bool. So bool means what it will print? It will print false, but the name is bool. So we have given a name, right? So how you will execute this? Right. So you have one of the options called here green play kind of symbol, run variables demo.java. When I click on this, you see that you will find one of the options called console. This is console. You see console. The output you will get in the console only. It's a plain area where you will see the output of your program. Okay, I am printing the false, so it is printing false here. Okay, now I'll print system dot out dot println. What is that? A long value. So you need to terminate the line with semicolon. Now instead of this I can use right click on your program. You will find one of the options called run as Java application. How to do that? Right click, run as Java application. So what I'll do, I'll click on this Java application. The same thing will happen. You see that I am printing bool, I am printing L. Bool value is false and the L value is 19999, something like that. That will print. Okay, what I am doing, this variable name I am using somewhere if I want. Okay, this is how you will print. This is a class. The class name is variables demo and the public static void main is a method. It's called main method. From here only it will start executing, and what is method we'll discuss separately in a separate video. But here, so everything is interrelated. Without method there is no meaning of writing class. If you want to write a method, you should have a class. You have both class and method. Without these variables, without system.out.println, you cannot show anything to anybody. Means you cannot print anything in the console. So where to start, how to go forward, it's a kind of confusion in Java while explaining. The reason is, if I start saying about class, I have to talk about main method. I have to talk about these data types, variables, right? If I directly want to say something about data types, I need to create a class. So everything is interrelated. We cannot skip. So that is the reason for some time it may be a bit confusing, but after that it will be very clear when you go step by step. Okay, so it's a class name and it is public static void main. So this is the starting point of a Java program execution, and then this is data type, variable name, variable value. This is how you can print. Okay, now what else we have? So object we will see in our upcoming sections. But here class and object are interrelated, so without object you cannot get anything from the class, but we'll see in the upcoming videos. And we have seen Java comments, we have created a sample Java project, we have seen what is data type, what is variables, what is class and object theoretically, and we have seen that class by taking one example, and we have seen that Java comments. Okay, we have seen everything. Okay, that's all in this video. Thank you.